G'day, this is my mate Mark. He's going to join me for some computer related videos. We do a little bit of work together, and right now we're going to talk about Windows 8. So that's the computer that I just built just before. So Mark is going to turn the computer on, and hopefully it turns on. We haven't turned it on yet. Knowing my luck, it won't turn on. You might have to turn the monitor on. There's a switch on the top, very top. Very top. Then it turns on. So Mark's going to jump in the BIOS. He's going to change the time a couple of hours forward. For our region, that's normally what happens. And then what we're going to do is install Windows 8. So this is a UEFI BIOS. This is a problem for us in Windows 8. Mostly on laptops, but we'll talk about that later. But we're stuck with this BIOS, and so he's going to put the time forward a couple of hours, and he's going to start the install of Windows 8. We're going to install it onto a solid state hard drive, and then what we're going to do is ghost it or image it to an old mechanical drive, and we'll just do a couple little tests to show you the difference in boot up speed between a solid state and mechanical hard drive. So
okay, so I'll go into the system time. And we'll change it to 19, are we?
Yep.
And put the disk in and boot.
Okay, so Mark's going to reboot, and we're going to install Windows 8 in the background while we talk about it.
Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save my settings, F10. Do I wish to save changes? Yes, I do. And I'm going to put the Windows 8.
So we've got a prepared Windows 8.1 disk. No, Windows 8, not Windows 7. Windows 8. Windows 8. We have a carefully prepared Windows 8.1 disk that has extra updates already preloaded into it. And also it's got a text file modified in it so that we don't have to enter in a key. So this disk is prepared for laptops, all-in-one computers, and any OEM installation. It will work for Windows 8 and Windows 8 Professional, and it saves us time by having all of the updates pre-installed into it. And we'll get into that later. Windows 8. What do you think? What do you think, Mark?
I like it. I do like Windows 8. A lot of people don't. I think they've done a lot of good work, but I'm not all that fancy on the UI.
We have a problem. You didn't boot from the disk.
No.
That solid state already had another OS on there. I think we should restart that and boot from the disk. I'm looking at it thinking something's not quite right.
It didn't look right when I started.
No, they had like a installation of something else on there. So he likes it. Me, it's not bad, but I have to ask the question: what was Microsoft thinking when they took the start button out? F8, too late.
Too late.
What was Microsoft thinking when they took out the start button? Okay, you got the desktop and you got the tiles interface. Okay, no problems. It's a good thing for tablets, no doubt about it. But no start button. That's the first problem. It runs very nice. Don't you agree?
It's definitely quicker. I do like the way it runs, but I do have issues with the UI. I think they've really missed it this time around.
Just be careful with your arm on that table. It's not very stable. Yeah, so the tiled interface looks fine, and I'm sure that would work well in a mobile phone, tablet environment. But the desktop, it's like they don't want you to use the desktop, which you're going to boot from the disk.
I am.
And you'll have to press a button, I think. It's like they don't want you to use the desktop at all. It's like when you first load up a Windows 8 computer, you'll see it. Nothing on the desktop. And that's what people have been using and are familiar with Microsoft Windows. That's something that I'm disappointed with. And I really question what Microsoft was doing in their head office when they tested it. Was everyone just going, yes, it's good? And they were too scared to tell the management that it was not very good?
No, I think what the problem really is that everyone at Microsoft know how to use Windows. You know, the general public still struggle to use a computer. Like, most of them want Windows XP, and some of them still want Windows 95. They want that basic... Are you crying?
No. I had one customer come in today, said they were still using Windows 98 and sending emails.
but a lot of the people I see, they want the basic 95 or Windows XP type interface. They just like it the way it used to be. They still struggle with change. And one of the problems I've seen, I would say with Windows 8, it's changed too quickly. You know, great for people at Microsoft who use computers all day and they know how to use it. Perfect for them. But that only represents a small portion of the users. Most people, 95% of the users, struggle to use a PC. And they struggle with change. You move something, you'll never find it again.
That's very true. Younger generation, people that are familiar with computers and aren't that bothered by change, it's okay for them. But for the majority of users of PCs, the change is difficult. So what we've got on this screen up here is we can choose which version of Windows we need. So Windows 8.1. So just as techs, we kind of need these tools because we come up against all different types of situations that need to be fixed.
And we also install the 64-bit as well.
This is a 64-bit disk only, so you can only make a 64-bit disk or a 32-bit disk. So we're just going to delete a lot of partitions. So this is an installation of server OS that we're just trying out to see how it runs, and it creates a lot of partitions. Okay. Can you just pull the SATA cable out of the 500 gig drive? Just pull it out. I forgot to disconnect it. And you shouldn't do this at home, but we can do this. Alright, so what we're doing there is just to make sure that Windows doesn't stick a boot partition on the other hard drive. Did it like that? Yeah, it didn't like that at all. Alright, hit the reboot button. I forgot to pull the hard drive out. When you're installing Windows, you should only have one hard drive connected in your computer. Press F. Well, no, it should boot up now. Because it'll stick a boot partition on the other hard drive sometimes. And it was going to do that then and screw up the whole installation. Microsoft. Yeah, so I don't know what they were doing, but the general public have difficulties finding things in Windows, and just going from Windows XP to Windows 7 was a big change for a lot of people. If they were using Vista, Windows 7 is not too bad, but Windows 8 is difficult. But what we'll do is we'll show you two little tricks to make Windows 8 so much easier. Just two little tricks. Microsoft, maybe you should add an update that adds these two tricks into the system, because it would make a big difference. Do you have any examples of people having difficulties with change?
I think virtually all my clients have problems with change because I look after a lot of businesses, and their main concern is their business, not whether they can use the computer or not. I'll go into a business and I'll have staff that's worked on the computer for years and years, and they'll go to work at 9 o'clock in the morning, spend all day on the computer, 5 o'clock they'll leave and go home, but they still struggle to use the machine. Also, when I do install, when I do put in a new machine that's a Windows 8 machine, even though the basic desktop is very similar to Windows 7, the task bar is very similar to Windows 7. They press the start button, and all of a sudden the whole screen changes and they're lost. That's it. They're just sort of shut down and they've got no idea what to do. They don't want to do.
That is part of the issues with Windows 8. Really, what you should have is two options. Do you want to use it as a desktop system? Or three? Do you want to use it as a tablet? Or do you want the option between both? I know just asking those three things would require a hell of a lot of code and a lot of work by Microsoft, but it would have reduced the negativity that Windows 8 has received by a mile. Would you agree?
Yes, a lot of people will sort of refer to Windows 8 as the next Vista, but that's not really true because Vista had problems in many areas, being not stable, being very slow. Windows 8 is not that. Windows 8 is very stable. It's very quick. But the general public think Windows 8 is Vista version 2.
Yeah, so Microsoft have got this track record of going good operating system, Windows 98, Windows ME bad. Windows 2000 and XP were both good. Okay, Vista was considered bad, but it was necessary for us to transition to 64-bit computing. And Windows 7 was considered what Windows Vista should have been. Windows 8 does have that Windows 7 stability there, and it has more speed to it as well, but it has issues. And what we're finding with Windows 8, like Vista, is when there's a bit of a problem, it's very difficult to fix, and the only way to really fix it is to just reinstall. Windows 7 and Windows XP, you had a lot more things you could do to fix things and keep it running, but I'm finding Vista and Windows 8, it's just wipe it and reinstall. And that wipe and reinstall is a massive problem for laptops, all-in-ones. No license keys. License keys are in the BIOS, so that's an issue that we will touch on. First, I want to talk about Windows 8 updating.
I was wondering when you're going to get to that. That's one of the complaints. I actually get that complaint at home. My partner has a Surface RT, and she said if the battery's not flat, it's bloody updating.
The issue with the Windows updates is, Windows 8 is getting it installed on a system when like a hard drive fails. That's a separate issue. So just say you start off with Windows 8, the first version that they released. To update that you have to update it. You may have to update it a second time. You can then update to Windows 8.1. You then have to run more updates, and sometimes more updates again. So minimum you have to update 3 times, sometimes 5 times. Okay. The issue we're having is we have to quote a customer 1 to 2 days to update Windows. And if you think that's not true, it is true. The problem, if it's like a desktop system like this thing will update like that. This is no problem at all. It's the laptops that have pre-installed software and the all-in-one computers, there's just this combination of stuff from when you run a recovery from like a system image or a fresh install or something, that we have many update failures for Windows 8. Many failures, and we're talking about clean installs. We're talking about recoveries from manufacturer recoveries. You just run the recovery, update, error, update, error. And that's where it takes us 2 days, 1 to 2 days on average, to update from Windows 8 to 8.1, and 5 gigs of downloads, 5 gigs of updates.
And then there's the issue with the keys.
Oh, Windows 8 license keys. So that disk that we're using now, that would be the disk that if you brought your computer into us and the hard drive failed, which it commonly does, you should back up your data, we replace the hard drive, whether it's an all-in-one computer or a laptop. These are the systems we have real problems with. And just getting the system to boot from a disk can be quite an issue. Sometimes they'll only boot from genuine disks, which we have copies of. We have to. A lot of the time it'll boot from that disk. Sometimes if you want to change from 64-bit to 32-bit, they will not boot from a 32-bit disk. The newer systems will not boot from a Windows 7 disk. The UEFI BIOSes are fussy on what they will boot from. But let's say it boots from the disk. We can install it because we don't need a key. The next problem is we need to get the key out of the BIOS, and we have some tools available to do it. But it's only about an 85-90% success rate. We're finding certain manufacturers, which we won't name, are using some type of corporate license, and there's a thing called an MSDN table where the BIOS is held, or the license key is held in the BIOS, that we just can't access. So people are buying Windows 8 computers and there's no way for us to access the license key. So 85% of the time we can boot from this disk, we can install, we can pull the license key out and it activates. No problems at all. It's actually, it's quite good. It can be quite quick most of the time and it doesn't have many issues. It's actually not that bad. But the issues that we're coming across are difficult to overcome.
And then the other thing with the keys too is, with the OEM discs that we use or we purchase, we have the option to install Windows 7 or Windows Vista Business with those discs that we get, the Windows 8 Professional discs, OEM. But to use the key, we can't use the Windows 8 keys for that. We have to use a Windows 7 key, and it sort of rubs the wrong way. We virtually have to steal a Windows 7 key to install Windows 7 when we purchase Windows 8.
Yeah, the downgrade thing is basically...
It's messy.
Yeah, you
messy.
just use any key, is what they
advise, but...
That's another issue, but yeah, so with this disk here, we can skip the license key, so we don't have to put it in. So this is an important step that we require to reinstall Windows 8 on a system that's had a dead hard drive in it. So the Windows 8 license, the way they've done this is, when you buy a copy of Windows 7 OEM or any OEM, that license is tied to that computer. Call it, it doesn't matter, call it anything you want. It's tied to the motherboard of that computer, so basically there's an ID of the system, and that's where it really belongs. And if that motherboard or computer dies, the license you bought with it is meant to die with it. But with Windows 8, or Windows 7, you had a key. Now with Windows 8, there is no key. It's actually in the motherboard. And so when the motherboard dies, you lose the license. And that's Microsoft's licensing, that's their agreement, that's what we agree to when we install Windows 8. So that's not the issue. The issue is the difficulty that we have reinstalling Windows 8 as a computer technician to fix something as simple as a faulty hard drive, which is very common, especially in laptops. And there we go. So that took 10 minutes to install on a solid state hard drive at the point where we chose the hard drive and it started copying files to it. So, okay. The two things that we do is we right click on, this is the first thing, right click on the desktop and you go personalize, and there's a button up there that says change desktop icons. Number one thing we do. And here you can put my computer icon, the user profile icon, and the control panel icon on the desktop. Bang. You've got access to most of your stuff already. Now, something else that Mark may not know. You right click in the taskbar. So you right click down here and you go toolbar, new toolbar. And here what we're going to have to do is we need to go to open up my computer and click view, and we need to show hidden items. Okay, so hopefully we can see hidden items, and we go program data, Microsoft. So I'll just go back, I'll just start this again. Okay, so you right click in the taskbar, toolbars, new toolbar. And then you need to click view and show hidden folders, because we need to access a hidden folder here. Once you do that, a program data folder on C drive will appear. You double click it, Microsoft folder. And then we go to the Windows folder, start menu, programs. So C drive, program data, Microsoft, Windows, start menu, and inside start menu is a programs folder. You click select folder, and bang, down here you have your start button in a crappy modified type of way.
I didn't know that.
No, he didn't know that, so I just taught him that. We don't actually work together, we're just sort of more of associated friends that are both techs. So that there is, once you install a program, okay, it will go in there, just like a start button. And Microsoft, if you're really watching this, you should learn, okay? So as an example, one of the first things people will do when they install Windows is they'll install Office. And just to be clear about this, we only sell our customers genuine copies of Windows. All of our customers use genuine copies of Office, okay? So it's all genuine software. We don't do anything dodgy. So this is a genuine Windows. All it needs is a license key. This hard drive's going to get wiped anyway. And so when you install Office, Office goes into that list. Okay, so I don't know if you've installed Office and tried putting a shortcut on your desktop. You got to go C drive, programs, Microsoft Office, root 4466, and then you got to find all of the exe files and drag them onto the desktop. This way here, I can go to Windows System Maintenance, Windows Accessories, Paint. Okay, I can find Paint, right click, send to desktop. I can simply create shortcuts, whereas without that, it is difficult. The stupidity of it just amazes me on how Microsoft could release a product with so many updates, 5 gigs of updates, and they can't make it easy to put a shortcut on the desktop.
What I normally do is put a shortcut on the taskbar.
But you got to get the shortcut in the desktop first.
No, you don't.
Oh, this is his trick that I don't know.
Okay. So what I'll do... Does your keyboard not work?
Of course it works.
So what I'll do is say we want, what would you use, paint?
See, it works.
I can't spell paint.
You can't spell.
I can't spell anything. Your keyboard's not working.
It looks like it's working.
So there's paint, so I can right click it there, I can pin it to the taskbar.
But put a shortcut in the desktop.
No, not from there, I can't. Your key doesn't work. It doesn't.
Maybe it's the wrong region.
Maybe. No, I don't think so. No,
The keyboard works, but
Doesn't
it's not
work.
working, is it?
no, it's not working.
Maybe the region. Did I screw the region off or something?
I don't think so. It's the start button. So there's my paint there. But you're right, it is only on the taskbar.
It's stuck to the taskbar. You can't put it on a desktop.
No.
So generally, with Windows 8, you've got to set it up as simply as possible. You need the shortcuts on the desktop. Internet. Can I get an internet icon on there? Internet Explorer, Windows accessories. Yeah, there's not even an Internet Explorer shortcut in here. So, how difficult is that? So generally you just drag something down there and stick like a Google icon down here. There you go. So you need to make it as easy as possible. So you need your Word shortcut, you need your internet shortcut, you need your mail shortcut, and that's just a basic setup of the system. But there's a couple little tricks. You got your My Computer icon, you can right click properties, see how it runs.
And do you like the feature where, say, if you want to open up Internet Explorer from the keyboard, and you can go, this is not going to work on your keyboard, where you can go flag 1. Your keyboard doesn't work.
Region, location. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, worry about the keyboard later. But that's us just talking about Windows 8. I think that's probably long enough video. If you're still watching, congratulations on listening to two old guys complain about Windows 8.
He's old.
Yeah, so is he. Thanks.
Thank you.